Hi, Julie here, and today I'm going to talk about how to make cone-shaped paper beads. I'm sure you've seen them on the internet around, and they are really great for jewelry making. And there are a few ways you can actually make them, and I'm going to go ahead and explain how. But first off, this set of cone beads were actually made with cardstock, 1/2 inch long. These are really tiny, made with copy paper. They kind of look like chocolate chips. Those are 1/4 inch long. And these are 5/8 of an inch long, also made with scrapbook paper that's 8.5 by 11. And these are about 3/8 of an inch long, and those also were made with scrapbook paper. So let's get started. First thing you're going to do is I do have some templates available on my website. This one here happens to be an actual cone paper bead template, and what makes it a true cone paper bead template is one edge here is 90 degrees to the bottom of the strip, and then the other end goes down to meet it. This one happens to be 3/4 at the wide end and a 1/16 inch at the narrow end. And this particular template I made on my InView software that came with my Pazzles cutting machine, but I also do have a 3/4 inch template available in a packet of templates that are the 3/4 inch. The template is included in that packet, and that's available at Etsy.com. And that will create strips like this and like this. And I know you can't tell these apart until I actually show you why these are different. If you notice, this has the 90-degree end on this edge here, on this corner. And these have the 90-degree edge on this corner. And that's because of the way they're cut. It's actually a rectangle where it was measured down 1/16 inch from each corner and then cut from that corner to corner, and that's how you get your right angle triangle shape. And this is the way I like to make my cones. Don't ask me why, I don't know. It's not the only way you can do it. But it works great when you're using the slotted bead rollers. With the split pin paper bead rollers, it really doesn't matter. And these two beads are a sample of taken from each one of these two piles of strips, and you can't tell the difference at all. It's just a matter on how it rolls, and I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, and then the other way that you can make cone-shaped paper beads is just using regular old standard tapered strips that are tapered to the center, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment also. And I do actually have a free template on my website at paperbeadcrafts.com that you can download in PDF format, and this will give you the actual centered triangles. That's 3/4 of an inch at one end, and technically it's 0 on the other end if you take a look at this template. These I actually cut by hand for this video. Okay, so let's get started rolling them. And what you're going to need to roll them up, of course, is your glue palette, your glue, your paper bead roller. You can use whatever size paper bead roller that you want to use. I happen to be using a 5/64 inch paper bead roller. Okay, the first one we're going to get started with is this particular strip has the right angle on this side. So I'm going to flip it over, and you can really see the right angle. You know, if you set it down, you can see where the right angle is and where it goes down at an angle. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into my paper bead roller. And like I said, this one's my slotted. And if you put it in flat, it'll actually be easier to naturally let it fall into place, to roll into place. So just go ahead and get started. But since this is the side of the 90-degree angle, you want to make sure that when you're rolling it up, you actually keep it lined up as close as you possibly can. And there is a way to fix it if you go astray. But go ahead and roll all the way, and don't put any glue on it until you're at the very tip. And that's important, and I'll explain why in just a moment. So we're just going to go ahead and roll this up right to the very end. And it's okay if it bulges out a little bit, because we're going to fix that. And that's why you're not gluing it. Okay, so this is just going to get rolled up. And we're almost there. At this point, I stop and I pick up some of my glue. And I put it on, and I'm going to need a little bit more glue. This dried up a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the glue right to the very end. And you only want to glue maybe 1 inch at the tip, so that way you can adjust it if you need to. And the way I always adjust it is I take it off the bead roller, and see how it bulges out a little bit? Just a tiny bit. Okay, you want to push that bulge in. So what I do is I push it down on my work surface. And I'm going to pick this up in just a moment. I push it down on my work surface so it's flat. Just like that. Okay, so with the other one, this other side, basically, you're going to do the same thing, but the straight edge will be on the opposite side. The straight edge is on this side, so you're basically going to do the same thing. You're going to put it in your bead roller and roll it up, watching this edge this time. And this is what you get when you use the template that's actually made for cone beads. You won't really get this, you know, this edge, this 90-degree angle when you use just a regular old tapered paper bead strip. And you're going to go roll it up and roll it up. And when you get back down to about 1 inch away, go ahead and apply your glue. Okay, and then you're going to finish rolling it. Okay, that's it for that particular cone. And double check your work, see if it needs to be flattened, and it does. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten it. I'm only doing this on the camera so that you can actually see how I'm flattening it, because I'm hiding the bead like this and you can't see what I'm doing. So basically what you do is you're going to flatten the bead so it's actually flat on the bottom. Okay, so now it's time to show you how to roll one of these plain old tapered beads, strips. And this will work for any size strip. It doesn't have to be the 3/4 inch. I'm just using that for demonstration purposes. And you don't even need to center it. You don't even need to be super careful. Just watch your tension and just roll it up. And it's going to take me just a moment. This might be easier for beginners to work with. If you have a problem like I just did, getting it to stay on your bead roller, you can always fold up the bottom edge to make the edge thicker. This works very, very well. In fact, I'm making a treetop star, and I'm going to be using Prism paper to actually make it nice and shiny. And Prism paper doesn't like to roll, so I fold up the bottom edge on every single strip, and then it rolls. And I'll be making a video on how to make that treetop star soon. Okay, so just go ahead and roll up your regular old tapered strip, no matter what size. Keep rolling. And if you want to watch it, or if you want to work toward one end or the other, you can. And you know, you can make it float to one side or the other if you want. And then remember, that side that you're making it float to, that's really where you want your flat end to be. Okay, go ahead, and you only want to do glue on maybe a 1/2 inch, so that way you have more paper to adjust that's not sticky and glued. Okay, so now I've got like a teardrop bead. It could be anything. It could be a perfectly tapered bead, it could be a teardrop bead, or if you wanted to, you could have gone along the edge and made it a cone. But to go ahead, take it off the paper bead roller, and again, I'm going to flip up my dish so you can actually see me flatten this. You're going to flatten it just like you did the other cones, and just go ahead and flatten it. And that's it. You've got a cone bead. So you really don't need the actual cone bead template. Any tapered bead template will work. Or any, you know, even if you just go ahead and cut a wedge out of a piece of paper and roll it up and flatten it, you can make a cone bead. It's really very simple. And that's basically it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. And stay tuned, or actually go ahead and subscribe to my channel, so that way you'll be notified when I get that video made about the treetop star. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.